Hello students, today we start with the part 2 of ultrasound lecture series. Now let us understand about transmission of sonic waves. When ultrasound wave travel through the different medium like our tissue, as we know our tissue is not homogeneous in nature. It has many interfaces and boundaries. So when the wave travel through the tissue, it can alter the direction and intensity which is occur by reflection and refraction of the ultrasound beam. Now let us understand what is reflection and refraction of an ultrasound beam. As we know, there is a velocity difference in a different medium. When the sonic wave travels from one medium to another medium, it has a different velocity. Suppose in medium X it has different velocity and in medium Y it has different velocity. So which is due to acoustic impedance of that medium. Now what is acoustic impedance? Acoustic impedance is nothing but it is a natural characteristic of the material, that is density and elasticity of particular medium. So when ultrasound beam is transmitted or transferred from one medium to another medium, because of velocity difference, some energy or some ultrasonic energy will be reflected back due to the difference in the acoustic impedance of two medium. The amount of energy which is reflected back is directly proportional to the difference in the acoustic impedance between the two medium and also depends on the angle of incidence of a wave at interface. Let us understand with the example. Suppose ultrasound beam transmitted from water to the glass. So here one medium is water and another medium is glass. So when ultrasonic beam travel or transmitted from water to the glass, 63% of energy will be reflected back because there is a great difference between the acoustic impedance of water and glass, and only 27% of energy will be transmitted into the new medium, that is glass. Same way in another example, when ultrasound waves or ultrasound energy transmitted from water to the soft tissue. Here our one medium is water and another medium is soft tissue. When the ultrasound energy travels from water to soft tissue, you can say only 0.2% of energy will be reflected back because the very less acoustic impedance difference between water and soft tissue. So almost 99.8% of energy is transmitted into the soft tissue. Hope you understand about the reflection of ultrasound beam. As we know, the reflection occurs. Another important term which is known as standing waves. We should understand about standing waves in reference of reflection. When the ultrasonic beam reflected back into the same plane, they are superimposed because one is incidence wave and same way the reflected wave. So they are superimposed and at some point of time they are more in intensity and they form a standing waves. which are dangerous or harmful. So to avoid the standing waves, we should continuously move the ultrasound head during the treatment. Now, what is refraction? So, refraction is when the beam of sonic energy that passes through the second medium does not continue in a straight line, but it changes direction at the boundary or interface because of the difference in the velocity. And again, the difference in the velocity is due to the difference in the acoustic impedance of a particular medium. As the acoustic impedance are closely matched, the very less amount of refraction will occur. Same way the refraction also depends on the acoustic impedance and also depends on the angle of incidence. Here the important term in reference with refraction is shear waves. Now what is shear waves? The shear waves occurs when the waves are refracted at an angle near 90 degree. That is, the reflected wave travel very close to the boundary, and these shear waves absorb rapidly in the tissue and resulting in a greater heating at the tissue interface. So these shear waves again are harmful and dangerous. So to omit the shear waves, we should continuously move the ultrasound head. So if you go through the part 1, in that we have also the near field. In ultrasound application, we are mostly concerned with the near field, right? So to overcome the irregularity of the near fields, to overcome the shear waves and standing waves, we should continuously move the ultrasound head during the treatment. Here is a figure from where you can easily see the reflection and refraction. So one is the incident wave, at the boundary or interface. The above is a medium in which wave travel at a high velocity, below the medium at which wave travel at a lower velocity. So here there are two medium when ultrasound wave travel from one medium which has a high velocity to low velocity at the reflecting surface, or you can say at the boundary or interface, there some amount of wave will be reflected back, and also the refraction also occurs. So suppose the refraction waves are very close to, or you can say travel very close to the boundary, they make shear waves. And same way, when the incident wave and reflected wave are superimposed, they form standing waves. So this is about transmission of ultrasound waves. So now, what is attenuation of ultrasound in the tissue? The attenuation of ultrasound is nothing but when the ultrasound energy are transmitted into the tissue, the sonic energy is lost in form of attenuation. Some amount of energy will be absorbed in the tissue and remaining amount will be scattered out. So absorption and scattering of sonic energy in the tissue is known as attenuation. So you can say the loss of energy from the ultrasound beam in the tissue is called attenuation and depends on the both absorption and scattering. The absorption accounts for some 60 to 80% of the energy lost from the beam, and scattered energy may also be absorbed other than in the region to which the ultrasound beam is applied. And scattering is caused by reflection and refraction, which occurs at the interface or boundary throughout the tissue. This is particularly apparent where there is a large difference in the acoustic impedance. So now sonic energy, as we know, sonic energy is nothing. It is a one type of mechanical or kinetic energy, right? Whenever we are applying sonic energy to the tissue, what happened to the tissue molecules? The tissue molecules motion will be increased because sonic energy is nothing but it is a one type of mechanical energy. Uh, as we remember the sonic energy definition or ultrasound definition, it is a periodical mechanical compression and refraction in a elastic material. So whenever you are applying the sonic energy to the tissue, the molecular motion of tissue molecules increases, which ultimately converts or absorbs into the heat energy. So in other words, you can say that sonic energy is converted to heat energy as it passes through the material, or you can say sonic energy is absorbed in the form of heat energy in the tissue. Now we know our tissue is not homogeneous in nature. Now let us assume if we are applying ultrasound energy to the our forearm region, right? So very first layer is our fatty tissue, then there is a muscle layer, and then there is a bone layer. So the how much absorption of ultrasonic energy takes place in a particular layer, that is depends on the factors that we are discussing today. That is first is type of tissue. So it is said that absorption of sonic energy is greater in the tissue with the largest amount of protein and lowest amount of water content. So you can easily say that uh, bony tissue or bone can absorb more energy because having more protein content compared to blood, because blood has less protein content and more water content, right? So less energy will be absorbed in the blood and more energy will be absorbed in the bone. So first factor is type of tissue. Now that absorption also depends on the which type of frequency we are applying. Um, we have two options. One is 1 megahertz and another is 3 megahertz option for therapeutic purpose. So whenever we are using ultrasound with shorter wavelength, means 3 megahertz frequency, then it is more easily absorbed and is considerably shorter distance. So if you want to treat superficial structures, the we can use 3 megahertz option because they are considerably absorbed in a shorter distance than the 1 megahertz. So if we want to treat deeper structure, then we have to use 1 megahertz option because it absorbs at a longer distance, right? Now, third point is half value depth of the tissue. What is the half value depth of tissue? It is nothing but it is a distance at which the half of the initial energy has been absorbed. So in other words, there is a exponentially decrease of intensity as depth increases. So you can say that when the beam of ultrasound is passed through the tissue, it will steadily reduce in the intensity as the depth increases. So you can say half value depth of fatty tissue, which is superficially, right, is high, muscle is lower and bone is lowest. Clear? And same way, if the half value depth are lower at 3 megahertz than the 1 megahertz, because 1 megahertz ultrasound frequency can goes deeper or can pass through depth, right? So this is your half value depth of tissue. Now amount of reflection at a tissue interface. Yes, we have understand the reflection of ultrasound beam. As suppose beam has to pass from fatty layer to the muscle, some amount of ultrasonic energy will be reflected back into the fatty tissue. So obviously there is a more energy absorption occurs in a fatty tissue compared to muscle because of the reflection occurs at the boundary. So more absorption, more heating will produce at the interface of a tissue. And then the tissue thickness will also considered when we are talking about the absorption of ultrasonic energy. This is said that when the overlying tissue thickness is small, or you can say the bone is situated very superficially, then you have to opt 3 megahertz frequency option to avoid the risk of periosteal burns or maximum heating at a bone surface, because bone absorb more energy. To avoid periosteal burns, if the bone is superficially situated, we are using 3 megahertz option, or if we want to use 1 megahertz option, then we are using pulse mode to avoid the periosteal burn. Same way, if we want to treat deeper bone structure, then we are using 1 megahertz option of frequency, right? So these are the main 5 factors which are responsible for the absorption of ultrasonic energy in a particular tissue. So again we revise these 5 factors are type of tissue, frequency of ultrasound beam, half value depth of tissue, then amount of reflection at a tissue interface, and the tissue thickness. So this is end with our part 2 of ultrasound series. Thank you.